Welcome, clanmates, rookery brothers, fellow mutates, and members of our pack. And welcome back to Jalapeña, a Gargoyles Garcast. I am your host, Jason and Gaston. With me, as always, is VHS Jase. And today, we are looking at the episode, A Lighthouse in the Sea of Time. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a gargoyle? The world will never know, because they will rip your head off if you try. Except for that one. He's weirdly into it. So this is one of the, I would say, compulsory episodes that cartoon series had to do back in the 80s and 90s, and this is the Reading is Awesome episode. We had the Guns Are Bad episode, and now this is the Reading is Good episode.
Yeah.
And
with strong hints to the greatest authors of all time.
Absolutely. See how many literary references you can catch in my captions today.
I only got
one. So we start out with I don't even know who the heck these people are. It's like, what if
Karen?
What if Indiana Jones was lame and married a Karen, and they just went around just complaining with each other? But they find in this box the Scrolls of Merlin, which I just realized that one is gone. But okay, anyway, just that put it here. Okay. Darn it, StreamYards. Yeah, here we go. They find the Scrolls of Merlin in this box, and who knows what's on the Scrolls of Merlin? Probably spells, we don't know. But that is what our clan is discussing back at the clock tower. And they're reading, of course, because reading is awesome. We've got he seems really into that book. Really, really into that book.
Disturbingly so.
Disturbingly so. But there's one person who's not into any book, and that is Brooklyn, who he's like, reading is for nerds. I don't want to read. I can't read. I'm dumb. I'm dumb and illiterate, and therefore better than you. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. Is we're going to convince Brooklyn that reading is fundamental, because that's what we're going to do. Meanwhile, Miss This Is My Only Line goes aboard a ship with Matt Bluestone, who is totally not Fox Mulder, by the way, because they, I don't know, I guess they're intercepting them out in the harbor so they can bring the scrolls on, onto land safely, which makes me wonder.
Do you think having them in a glass case on the bridge of the boat really is a smart idea?
Why are they only sending two cops? So smart. They're only sending 2 cops. Seems like to me there should be like police boats on each side. There should be a helicopter on patrol. But no, we got the one police detective who thinks he's Fox Mulder, and the other one who disappears for like days on time and then comes back and she's like limping. Yeah, she's perfect. She's got a cap on. She's perfect now.
Yeah, she's on mission, isn't she?
She's on a mission. She just doesn't tell us about it. But however, we get the bad guys show up. Of course they do, because of course they do. And there is one thing that I did like about this episode that I kind of wish they would have kept the true identity of the bad guy's secret a little bit longer and let us think it was Xanatos also. Because we get our gargoyles wandering around going, it's Xanatos. It's got to be Xanatos. And we're just like, it's not Xanatos. Oh my God, it's not Xanatos. Quit being stupid. So yeah, I don't like episodes where we know something that it takes the characters like 10 minutes to figure out.
Yeah. You never want your audience too ahead of the game.
Yeah. And here I do feel like we're too ahead of the game. But enough of that right now. Anyway, the bad guys come in shooting and they end up taking the scrolls. Everything. They take they take the scrolls with them. Elisa completely useless, which, I'm kind of impressed with this, because usually whenever you have a show like this, the female detective is like a stereotypical I'm going to kick your butt kind of person and like super duper tough. But here she gets overpowered. And yeah, you may think, well, that makes her weak. No, that makes her realistic, because there's 2 people and they have guns.
Yep, exactly. And Harrier jets.
Yes, and Harrier jets. But that's not going to stop old Hudson, because Hudson's going to break in and he's going to kick some butt, and or he's just going to get electrocuted. But he's got the scrolls, so that's all that matters. And thankfully, he's also buoyant. which, you know, I'm buoyant too, but, you know, me and Hudson are buoyant for the same reasons. It's just
glad that canister is water.
Yeah, we got a little junk in the trunk. That's all it is. So the gargoyles, upon being kind of embarrassingly defeated by the Harrier Jets and these two nameless thugs, they go to the person they think is responsible, Xanatos, but Xanatos isn't taking calls today. Instead, you just got Owen. Just like, I'm sorry, but Mr. Xanatos isn't here today. Kiss my butt. And that's pretty much the entire scene. And then, well, we're just going to go ransack your castle. Okay, whatever. I have a cleaning crew. I love Owen.
It's great. Snarky is absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Brooklyn hitched a ride on the Harrier Jets, grabbed the other one, and he's getting ready to take off. However, before he can take off, it's me. It's McBeth. You remember me from last season, right? I'm the really awesome neutral character who will kick your arse. Voiced, of course, by the great John Rhys Davies, who is awesome. And, well, McBeth kicks Brooklyn's butt and gasses him and takes the scrolls back. And then realizes, oh, wait, I need both of them. I only have one. If I only have one, it's dangerous to read it. I need both so I can have these spells all to myself because I'm Macbeth. And you did get a big hint whenever he said, the scrolls of Merlin, sealed by my own hand. Bro's old. He's really, really old. Meanwhile, Hudson washes up on a beach. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Gargoyles universe, Mr. Paul Winfield.
Oh, okay. There you go. Because that was a question I was going to ask you. Does he return? And you've kind of answered that already.
Yes. So Paul Winfield, he does not appear a whole lot. And it's one of the few good episodes from the third season is his last episode. And it's really good. But I won't spoil that one.
Immediately, I thought it was Richard Pryor from See No Evil, but figure out it was actually Paul Winfield.
What you doing on my beach, MF? You want to go smoke some crack? Oh my god. Oh. Anyway, so this is an author who went blind in Vietnam because of shrapnel, and again, they're mentioning Vietnam in a kids show, which is like, wow, okay. But he invites Hudson into his house. Of course, being blind, he doesn't realize that Hudson's this monstrous-looking gargoyle, and assists him coming in. And they sit by the fire, and they try to, well, basically, they have a lot of conversations in this episode. This is honestly a deceptively quiet episode because you're expecting action, but Hudson and his new friend, they have a lot of very quiet conversations.
They're kind of awkward, quiet conversations. I'm not sure that they really understand each other 100%, but it's a good moment.
It really is.
Probably because of that, because they're kind of, overcoming some communication issues, slight ones, but
But it slips at one point. Whenever I cannot remember this man's name, I am so sorry, but he says that he is an author, and then he hands Hudson one of his books, and Hudson reveals, I can't read, and I'm ashamed, which is totally different than Brooklyn. Brooklyn's that proud, ignorant person. Hudson is ashamed of the fact that he can't read, and I think that's such a great moment. It shames me. I can't read, which I don't know. I could see it too, because being an old...
I don't know why you're ashamed, because it wasn't your probably fault. I can't imagine being a lot of schools open for the gargoyles back in the day. So,
but you also have to think about it this way. He's mentor to Goliath, who is literate, who does read. Yeah. And, Lexington reads and Brooklyn reads, and he's supposed to be older and wiser, and he's illiterate. So, yeah, I can definitely...
But in saying that, he still is older and wise. He's still wise.
Yeah. He's wise in many ways. Even though he can't
read, he's still wise. So.
He is very wise, but in his eyes, he's lesser because he can't read. And I think that's such a great moment of characterization for him. There is another great moment right here. And it's one of those things where it says reading is awesome without saying reading is awesome. And that is whenever Brooklyn is tied up and McBeth is talking to him. And Brooklyn says, not Brooklyn, I'm sorry, Broadway. I keep calling him Brooklyn. Broadway says, what do you want with these dusty old scrolls anyway? And McBeth just goes in this big dialogue about Merlin teaching a young skinny boy about this, and he's like pontificating the way only John Rhys Davies can.
Yeah.
And
exposition.
wide-eyed, Broadway says, "You were there." And McBeth laughs. He goes, "I'm old, but I'm not that old." And it's one of those things. Like I think that's the moment that Broadway realized, wow, okay, there's something to this whole reading thing. Yeah, it basically like. And this sounds like the lame public service announcement. It transports you to another world. And I think that's where he first starts getting the idea that, oh, yeah, maybe I do want to read.
Yeah.
Reading is fundamental.
Spoken like a true teacher.
Absolutely. Reading.
But it is true. It absolutely is true. I mean, it was one thing to look at Playboys, but because I was able to read the articles, that's what made the difference for me.
They came with articles?
They did indeed.
Oh, interesting.
I went from the pictures to the cartoons to the articles. There you go. So reading is good, kids.
I don't remember words in them, but I'll take your word for it. Meanwhile, these two idiots. Goliath and Brooklyn have just been, what I can only assume, trashing Xanatos' entire house. And then they go down to Owen. We've had enough. Where are they? I don't friggin' know. Yeah. Have you checked with McBeth and Brooklyn and Broadway? Oh my God, Brooklyn and Goliath are just like, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, we should probably go check on him.
Yeah, it's not exactly a Sherlock Holmes Watson moment.
Yeah, these guys. Okay, I love these guys, but they are honestly not the smartest at times. They really aren't. So Hudson has to turn to stone in the daytime, and of course that really confuses his friend. And yeah, he just turns to stone on the dude's porch, holding the canister.
Hey, good positioning.
Yeah.
Although, it's good for the public. Although, pretty stupid, mate. Couldn't you put the canister down somewhere? Like dropped it in a bush or something?
Again, I love these guys, but they're often not the smartest.
No, that was like, here, take it.
So anyway, McBeth pops in and he's like, I'm looking for an old friend of mine. He's really old, kind of smells bad and has wings. Have you seen him? And Paul Winfield's just like, nah, get out of here. I don't know nobody like that. And probably the most useless scene in the world, because he immediately just sees the canister out there and just takes it. It's like, thank you for being a complete idiot, Hudson. I appreciate that.
You could at least hold it close to yourself, like drop it in a book. You could have done absolutely anything but what you did, and it would have been better.
Yeah. You would have been better off just like leaving it on the porch. Yeah. Again, I love these guys, but they're not always the smartest. But he comes back the next night going, did I happen to leave something in your house? It's like, you did not. Anyway, this is where I think it takes the message a little bit too far, is where he comes in and they work out Lennox Macduff is, those are two characters from Macbeth. Like, oh, Macbeth, oh no, how are we going to find him? And Paul Winfield grabs the yellow pages, which aren't yellow in this thing, and he says, oh, look, here's his number, here's his address right here. And the cringiest line ever. Hudson goes, oh, a magic book. And Paul Winfield goes, aren't they all?
Yeah, that was a bad line. That was bad. Because you could have again said something else in that moment. Because it said not magic science, anything. Yeah.
Not magic, just a phone book. That would have been fine.
Yeah, but
that would have been fine. Man, that was like a public service announcement.
Books magic? Because there's some books I can think of that weren't so magic.
Anyway, Hudson goes to Macbeth's house only to find the other gargoyles there. And he's like, where's the fat guy? Oh, I thought he was with you. No, we thought he was with you. Oh crap, is he missing? And so they decide to go. They got to go in and they got to save Broadway, who is about to be like magically experimented on by Macbeth, and that sounds a lot worse than what it actually is. He's got the scrolls. He's trying to open up the scrolls, and he's going to use the magic spells on Broadway as kind of like a test to see if they work, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I don't know. What if you make him like super powerful? And then he just like kicks your butt. That'd be awesome.
Crap, wrong spell. Yeah.
So there is a huge fight, and it ends with Macbeth opening up the scroll to find out it's not spells, it's a diary. It's a worthless, stupid diary that Merlin kept. And so Goliath tells him, stop what you're doing or I burn this scroll down to the ground. And Broadway says, don't burn that. It's too valuable. It's Merlin's own words. It's priceless. So like, okay, that's good. I like that. Having to basically talk Goliath down from destroying what was basically like a priceless literary artifact. Because
it belongs in a museum.
Yeah, it belongs in a museum. And then Macbeth is just like, fine, get out of here. I don't even want it anymore. And so the gargoyles fly back to their clock tower. They're going to read the scrolls. They're going to hear about it, which, first of all, what language is that written in? Can they read that language?
Ye Old English?
Yeah, the Ye Old English. I mean, they can read modern English, but can they read Old English? Maybe Goliath can?
Well, that's how they would learn, right?
Yeah, but...
they would look upon modern dialogue as, these guys are so simple. There's no grace or art in the English language today.
Well, if you were to look
at it.
1,000 years ago, we were in Middle English, and it sounded nothing like what we sound right now. And so, no, it did not.
Well, English, the actual England, not like Irish or Scottish or Welsh, which is really different. And
no, like Middle English was literally almost a different language, though, is what I'm trying to say. So if they knew how to read back in 994 AD and they come to 1994, they're not going to be able to recognize the language anymore. But of course, it's a cartoon, and it's like, whatever. Yeah, you know what? We don't speak in Old English, so it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. And we end with Paul Winfield being inspired once again to write novels. And so he starts dictating a novel into his little tape player. Again, it's the 1990s. We used to have those. And that is A Lighthouse in the Sea of Time. Reading is fun. Have we mentioned reading is fun?
Yep. Apparently we have. It's a good episode. It's okay. Didn't actually blow me away, to be honest with you. It's okay.
It's not great. It's not terrible. It's kind of middling. I respect what they were going for, but I do think it would have been a lot more effective if they hadn't laid it on so thick.
Well, you know what my problem really was? There was they didn't have a lot of story here. They really didn't, and they stretched it out as much as possible, and it's really noticeable. There's really only 5 or 10 minutes of story here.
There is, and again, like I said, I don't like it whenever the audience is so far ahead of the main characters that we know things they don't, and it takes them 10 minutes to figure out what we already know. I think that's a huge story problem.
Yeah, I do too. But again, what was the first season? 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have season 2. Thanks, 52. You're getting into that territory, aren't you? Where
not everyone's going to be a winner.
Not everyone's going to be, but it's not a bad episode. It's just not one of their stronger episodes that I've seen so far.
No, but I will say, next week's episode, or I should say the one on the next episode of Jalapeña, is probably one of, if not my favorite episode of the season.
Okay, cool.
It's called The Mirror.
That's a big call when we're only like 4 episodes in.
Yeah, but it's called The Mirror, and it introduces a new character voiced by a Star Trek alumni, by the way, who I'm pretty sure you will recognize as soon as they open up their mouth.
Yep.
And it's magic and mayhem, and there's some great humor in it. And it's just like, it's one of those things where
I bet it's Spiner.
I'm not gonna say. It's Shatner.
We turn.
I am a gargoyle, and I'm turning to stone. Oh no, the sun! Stop it and turn to stone. I'm trying. But yeah, it's Spiner showing up in the next episode.
Yeah, just because he's got the voice. I was thinking that the actors have already used and who's got a great voice, and you were never going to get Patrick Stewart. He was too busy making the big dollars.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart and I think Will Wheaton are the only. And
I love Will Wheaton. Don't get me wrong. I really love him from a nerd thing, but Will Wheaton's Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton probably doesn't have the range vocally of a.
Did you know Will Wheaton made a cameo in the 2009 Star Trek reboot and you never knew it?
Well, if it's a cameo, it's probably something in the background. What tell me. What was
he was
it?
one of the voices communicating to Nero on the bridge.
Oh, okay.
You never knew it was him, did you? Oh, yeah, he got a ring.
No,
yeah,
because it wasn't really focused on him. There was just a lot of noise happening. Why do I feel like I'm Sheldon Cooper now and I hate Will Wheaton? I don't hate Will Wheaton. I like Will Wheaton. Wheaton! Yeah.
Wheaton's great. No. I like
he is. He's great. He's really important. He's talented. I just don't think each actor, each celebrity has their own different skill set. I just wouldn't have thought voice artist is one of them for Will.
Yeah, I think I can't remember if Gates McFadden shows up on the show, but I know Patrick Stewart doesn't. But everybody else does.
Yeah, I honestly think though, if you think about the people that have been doing their voice, really, Jonathan Frakes isn't that strong either. To me, the stronger voice performers are your Michael Dorns, Deanna Troy, because I'm old.
Marina Sirtis.
And even Brett Spiner. I feel like they've got voices that are adaptable. And I love Jonathan Frakes. Jonathan Frakes is the only Captain America that counts. That's right, kids. He once was Captain America. You can look that up.
Yeah.
But
that is true.
No,
hey, you know what though? For the voice of Xanatos, he's perfect.
He's great.
He is. He's perfect.
He's great. No, I mean, like, man, okay, this is a hill I'm willing to die on.
Proceed.
I like him as a director quite a lot. I thought his job on Clock Stoppers was fantastic. I liked that little film. I also am one of the 3 people on the planet that enjoyed his Thunderbirds movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
He did a great job with that movie. He made a real big budget. I mean, it's really an English blockbuster because that's where it comes from. But he did a great job. He's very, very, very talented. I don't know why I'm saying, because that's like saying the sky is blue. No, he's a good dude. And and the fact that now he directs, I mean, really, he's almost like a Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau type for Star Trek at this point, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because he's still hands-on making the episodes, but he's not really running the show, but he is running the show. I feel like, anything that's been good out of this new stuff, he has had something to do with. Yeah. Fine director.
Love you, Frakes.
Oh, mate, absolutely.
But we also have alum from Voyager and Deep Space Nine who show up on this series too. So it's kind of every other episode. It's like, who is that? Who is that? I recognize that voice.
Think who we could have? We could have Ethan for sure because he's in everything. I'll be surprised if he didn't do a voice.
I honestly don't remember if he does.
Tim Russ, perhaps I could see. Maybe a Tim Rush. Not Chakotay. Please don't say Chakotay. That'd be hilarious if it was. I'm happy with that way Voyager treated me. I'm a
gargoyle. I am turning into stone. Oh my gosh, how did he turn into stone so early? He didn't. That's just how he is.
That's the way he acts.
Yeah, but that is coming up next time here on Jalapeña's The Mirror. Yeah. Again, one of my favorite episodes. I hope you join us. And you know what I hope you do? I hope you check out the video description below where we have got a link to our Patreon, and you can pledge $5 to help me and Jase continue doing this dumb, stupid, dumb thing that we do here. And you can also become a YouTube channel member and get the videos early for just $5 a month. And of course, if you like Gargoyles, drop us a line. Say, hey, I really like this episode. I really like this character. Keeping things spoiler free because this big galoot hasn't seen these episodes yet. We do know there's some surprises on the way, so don't you dare spoil those surprises.
No, please don't. Don't be that person who spoils. You know, I can't believe I've gotten away with what I've got away with so far, and the fact of lack of spoilers. Don't be that. But they may hate me that much that they need to do it because I am indeed the worst representation of it, Australia.
The absolute bottom of the barrel, yes, and that says a lot for your country.
It's true because somebody wrote it.
The worst example.
And the good thing is, kids, if you read, you'd be able to read that comment. So
that's
reading
right.
is important.
That's right. And if you can't read, you'll never be able to know what the comments say, which in some cases is a good thing. But you know what? Reading is fun. Gargoyles is fun. So we will see you next time here on Jalapeña, a Gargoyles Garcast.